So what is this Kālī? Now coming back to the core issue of Kālī. The word Kālī in Sanskrit comes from various verbal roots that Panini gives the rule for how the Sanskrit language can explain anything. Kala kila bila kshepe, kala gyane, kala sankhyaane, kala nade, kala gatau. So the kala, the verbal root is kala, of which we make Kālī. Kala kila bila kshepe. Kshepa is to project, through to throw out, so to cast forth. Kala kila bila kshepe. Kala gatau, to flow, to move, to have motion, to count, to determine, to ascertain something, and to sound, to have the sound, to transform into sound, and to cognize. So Kālī is the mode of consciousness that projects reality outside, that cognizes the projected reality from within, that determines what has been projected outside, that gives motion to everything that is there. That is why color comes from the time, like everything gives the sense of moving forward in time. And that gives us awareness, jnana, kala jnane. And the sound, there is a Kālī itself manifests in the form of the innermost sound of in the mantras, the most exalted part of the mantra, in just the mere nada. So Kālī is the inherent intrinsic nature of consciousness, the Vimarsha Shakti, that does everything, of the projection to the cognition to the determination of the world or the phenomena. Kshepo jnanam cha sankhyanam gatir nada iti kramate kalanam kurvati Kālī karshini tyavidhiyate. Elsewhere that line is there. The Kālī is also called karshini, kala sankarshini, for who does the kshepa. Is a projection to bring forth, jnana, cognition, to cognize, sankhyana, to determine, to count, to delimit, gati, to come into motion, and nada, to bring into sound. Jnanam vikalpa. So now, swatmano bhedanam kshepaha. What is it? Kshepa. Self-differentiation is kshepa. Splitting myself, separating myself. Swatmano bhedanam kshepaha. When that singularity is there, then this Kālī gives the sense of separation. How does that singular become many? Kālī projects the manifold. This kala means to differentiate. Kālī means the differentiating force, the Shakti, the power that differentiates, that separates. How does self-consciousness arise? We talked a little bit on embryology. When a baby is born, the first thing the baby needs to learn is to separate himself from the mother. Swatmano bhedanam kshepo bheditasya vikalpanam. So then when you have avikalpana, when you that you do not bring into your conceptualization of what is brought as a different. So something has been expunged from you, and that is not within the horizon of your I consciousness. Like when I think of myself, this bottle is not part of it. So, Bheditasya abhikalpanam, it has been differentiated, and I don't think of the bottle as me. When I'm aware of myself, when I'm conscious of me, it's not integral part of my awareness. Jnanam vikalpa sankhyanam manyate vyatibhedanat. This jnana is the determinate knowledge. It's not a pure consciousness we are talking about. To have a concept, to have Shivalinga, to have a drop, these are concepts. These are distinguished concepts. Gati swarupa rohitam pratibimba vadeva tate vadeva yate. What is gati? Kalagata swarupa rohitam, to rise in its own internal form. That is gati. The motion is not just simple motion. It is described in terms of it acquiring its own originality, its own form. Nada, it's not just sound. What is nada? Swatma paramarsa sheshata. Nada is self-awareness. So I will give you a little translation here. The sense of the term kalana, from which the word Kālī is made, from the root kal, is number one, to cast forth, to throw out, to know, to enumerate, and to move, and to sound. What is meant by to project out is the process of separation of outer reality from this singularity of self-awareness. What is cognition? That is the abstention from forming thought constructs in relation to this reality thus divided, basically to cognize what has been separated. The child learns to separate the mother and then knows the mother as the mother. Now, that is already we are gone to Sankhyan. And then this enumeration, Sankhyana, is the formation of thought construct that helps you determine what it is. And how does that happen? It's by mutual exclusion. So when I say not me, then there is the object. When I say not the object, there is me. It's a mutual exclusion of subject and object from one another. What is gati, motion, is the mounting of things onto own nature in a manner of a reflection in a mirror. So it's not just a motion, it's just a recognition of things that itself is a motion. Sound here is for reflective awareness of being self-aware. So this being self-aware and the rest, Shepa, Jnana, Sankhana, Gatir, Nada, 5. And Diti Pancha Vidamenam Kalanam Kurvati Para Devi Kālī Tatha Kālakarshini Cheti Kathyate, the same pure pristine consciousness when is functioning in the 5-fold forms is called Kālī and Kālasankarshini, or invoked in various names. So that very pure and pristine consciousness that unfolded in the triadic structure of the cognizer, the cognizing and the cognized, in the form of para, para, and apara, is now being analyzed in the will of 12 Kālīs. And how do this will manifest? What is the sequence in which this will of Kālī unfolds? When आत्मनि एव क्रोधीकारेण अनुसंधानात्मना ग्रसते सा अस्य भगवती मातृसद्भाव काल संकर्षणादि निरुक्ता. Meaning, when that triadic structure of consciousness embraces everything, subject, object, cognition, within, circumscribe. Krodhikara is like putting in one's own lap, like a little baby. So that's all within. So it's circumscribed, basically, enveloped. So when the triadic structure is enveloped within that singular consciousness, this consciousness is called Kālī. Let me repeat. What is Kālī? Kālī is referring to that consciousness that envelops the triadic structure of subject, object, and the process of consciousness.
The full lecture is part of the Upayas course. Watch it on www.vimarshafoundation.org.